How to boost your ability to see in the spirit, increasing your clarity. Number one is meditation prayer. The prayer that is done with lots of imagination. Most persons are more comfortable with imagining the cross, imagining the Lord while doing the prayer, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. It's called meditation prayer. You can even do it without vocalizing. You can actually pray without opening your mouth. The environment you are mostly found is the environment you will communicate with and you will be able to relate with often. Your availability in a realm is not a product of physical presence, but where your mind is. For where a man's treasure is, there will his heart be also. The number two thing, pray more in the spirit. The more you are praying in the spirit, the more spiritually aware you are becoming, and the more enlightened and lightened up you will become. The more you are engaging in spiritual activity, speaking spiritual languages, the more you begin to relate more with the spiritual atmosphere. How do we know if your mind is in the spiritual? You will hunger more for spiritual things. You will be so hungry for God, so hungry for the things of God. Then it means that your mind is in the spiritual. Number three is desire. Your desire, hunger for the voice of God, looking for ways of understanding yourself, understanding how to hear God is not a waste. What desire does to you, it increases your ability and capacity to receive the prophetic grace, to receive the gift of clear vision. The reason why so many people have not received that grace and are not yet manifesting it is because their capacity is not increased enough to be able to handle it yet. And if the capacity is not increased enough and it comes, it can even cause a lot of damages to your health. That is why God wants to make sure that you covet for it. And by coveting, there is an increase that is going on. That's why Paul the Apostle say, covet that ye may prophesy. Because by coveting, you are increasing your ability and capacity to be able to receive the gift and function in it. I will just give you a short story. There is this, my daughter, Velma. She will be watching this teaching right now. Velma has a labor spirit. Anytime she is close to a sick person, she attracts the sickness. And she will become very sick. I'm talking about literal sickness. One of the times she was even feeling strong pain that when the husband called me, my son, Oluwatosin, the wife was rolling on the ground because of it. And the sickness was not actually her own. It was actually a spiritual message that was supposed to come to her. But because she is not yet strong enough, the sickness came to her as if it is her own, as if it's a spiritual attack on her. And she became so sick. After following instruction as I gave, everything vanished. This is one of the things God is trying to avoid when he wants you to so much covet and desire the gift before it comes. Because coveting for it builds your ability and capacity to be able to handle it when it comes. You have heard me tell you the story of the first time where my spirit jumped out of my body. I told you how I ran out of the prayer room. Because that time my ability and capacity was still building up. It was not up to the level of handling my spirit jumping out of my body. You see some persons who got launched into levels that are beyond them. And you see them manifesting some kind of mental symptoms. And you are surprised. It's because their ability and capacity is below the realm they entered. Number 4. Meditate often. The environment vision drops and the environment we meditate are the same. So the more you meditate, the more used to that environment you become. And so anytime you are stirred in the spirit a little, visions will begin to drop in that environment. It's that same environment we do meditation. The more you meditate, the more easier it is for you to access the vision realm and be able to see things in pictures, in parts. Because we see in part and we prophesy in part. Place more value on meditation. Meditation is what you can do even in your office. While you are seated not doing anything, you can meditate. So a believer actually is not supposed to be bored at any time, because every free period is a good time to engage meditation. It is very easy for a man to relate with the environment he's hanging around all the time. If your mind is always in the spirit, engaging spiritual activity, you are going to start relating with that environment.